Hello, my dear students. A warm welcome to my class on Physics 2. It is going to be 33rd class in a row. It has been a long journey. I thank you all for cooperating over these days. And slowly our topics are actually almost covered almost every topic. Now we are living with electromagnetics. It started with electrostatics, magnetostatics. Now we are still in magnetostatics. My earlier discussion was on Ampere's circuit and law. So today we'll extend our discussion a bit more. We'll be solving problems. So let us do some fun out of the magnetostatics. So magnetism continues. Okay. So now you can see here. Okay, this class is all based on vectors. So you need the concept of vectors, the basic vectorial function. Gradient you take of a scalar function. Divergence means change of a vector function, or physical meaning of divergence of a vector means flow of the vector. If it is greater than zero, outward flow; less than zero, inward flow; and if it is only zero, and curl means vorticity of the vector. So this is the concept of gradient. Gradient means change, variation. This is the concept of divergence, flow. This is the concept of, okay, you can see the divergence. There is a, whether with respect to electric field we studied, okay, electric field has got finite divergence, okay, but magnetic field has got no divergence. Divergence of magnetic field is zero. So whatsoever with the electric line of force, magnetic line of force, with that are generated, that actually uh, from the North Pole, that is actually all absorbed by all ended, all uh, actually taken by the total net outward flow from the North Pole is equal to the net inward flow at the South Pole. So net flow. So divergence will be zero there. Curl means vorticity of the vector, rotation of the vector, whether it exists the rotation or not. Okay. We have studied curl of electric field is zero, so there is no net flow. And so no net rotation. Okay, no vorticity, but curl of magnetic field is non-zero. But that will be that I presented at the end of the last class when I was discussing about Ampere circuit and law. So this is not for electric field and magnetic field vectors. The velocity vector is shown on the screen. You see it is a rotating tendency. Okay. So now this is the integral part. Line integral means work done, and surface integral means net flux coming out of the surface. Volume integral means total volume content, and line integral and surface integral are connected by this formula. Okay, divergence of vector is equal to surface integral of a volume integral of the divergence of a vector equal to the surface integral of the vector. And this is the rotation. So total curl, okay, total work done. Okay, so you see that lady is that is total work done will be line integral that is equal to the surface integral. So there is a Stokes theorem in 3D, and in that is Stokes in 2D it is the Green's theorem. So basically in this way we continue. Electrostatics was talk about this much. The concept you have, the electrostatic field was divergent. Okay, just to remind you how everything gets changed. And this is a Gauss's law of electrostatics talks about that net. This is a differential form. There is there is a net flow of electric field. You see divergence is non-zero. Okay, now finally you see this is the famous Laplace equation, that is in terms of electric field connecting voltage, the potential with the del square V is equal to rho by minus rho by epsilon 0. It was this will again come today in terms of magnetism. Okay, so we'll be getting this is the electric potential. Today we'll be getting about magnetic potential. Okay, and if there is no charge, del square V is 0. That is Ampere's famous law that we applied in the case of variety of problems. Now here comes the Bar-Sabbat law, which talks about the production of the magnetic field of the steady flow of the charges, okay, or the electromagnetic field produced by steady current. If there is a current element, ideal or IDS in the picture, you can see it will produce a magnetic field at any point P, that is mu 0 by 4 pi, the current element cross product of the unit vector in the direction where P is located by R square. Okay, so this is famous Bar-Sabbat law. You can we have solved variety of problem with the help of this law. These are all the problems that you can see on the screen. You can calculate the magnetic field due to the a finite where you can calculate the magnetic field due to an infinite where that is very long where m is by a kind of thing. You can in variety of problem actually calculate it, but all these are actually talking about the creation of magnetic field due to a current element. So now after that we discussed about if current flows through one of the wire, it will produce magnetic field. If I keep a parallel wire, So that magnetic force, if current flow is flowing means charges are flowing under a magnetic field. Charge flow in a magnetic field experiences Lorentz forces. So that is dl cross b type of force is q dl cross b type of force acts there. So what is the net force between two parallel wires, that is also shown there. You can see it is I dl into b. Okay. These are some more problems. This is the long straight wire. Okay. So these problems we have already done, and this is the concept of ampere circuit law. It talks about the line integral of the magnetic field B dot TL is equal to mu zero times the net current enclosed. So basically, net magnetic B dot TL, in this case, TL is a length element, will be equal to I1 plus I2. I1, you see, it is inward. I2 and I4 are outward. Okay. So basically, it will be I2, I4 to I1 and I3, if you make them positive, other one it should be opposite. You see, so net current is I1 minus I2 plus I3 minus I4. So this will be equal to mu zero times equal to that line integral of B dot dl. This is famous Ampere circuital law, okay, which talks about the net magnetic field produced, okay, by closed loop, okay, and it is the summation of the current, if the line integral of B dot dl, that is of that field of magnetic induction B dot dl is equal to mu zero times the total current enclosed by the loop. Okay. So now you can, if you keep an analogy, the electrostatic field, you can see on the picture, it was like this much. Okay, there is an electrostatic version here. B dot dl is equal to mu zero I. Electrostatics was the not the here current, steady current produces magnetic field. Electrostatic, it is a charge which produces electric field. Dot ts q by epsilon zero. So from there on, we got the differential from Ampere's law. B dot dl in Stokes theorem is curl of B. So you can write down that is equal to mu zero j. It's a very famous equation. That's the curl of the magnetic field is non-zero if there is a steady current there. So that means magnetic field is rotational. Okay. So divergence of magnetic field is zero. That is coming from Biot-Savart law, and divergence of electric field is non-zero. So magnetic field has got no net flow. There is no magnetic, so there must be two poles in case of magnetism. Whatever be the lines of forces coming out from north pole, that will be absorbed by the south pole, but that in electric monopole can exist because divergence is non-zero. And this is curl. Electric field has got no vorticity, but magnetic field has vorticity. Okay, so these are all the ideas I have put together. Now, what I did after that in that class, I have presented some applications of Ampere circuital law. Okay, this is one of the application. You can see net current will be equal to put here how much will be the net current, 5A plus 2A, 7A minus 4A, because that is in the opposite direction, 3A. It's a very beautiful problem, okay, as you can see, and 7 ampere and 1 ampere is not coming into the account because that is not enclosed by the loop. These are some of the applications. Ampere circuital law is fruitfully used to calculate the magnetic field, magnetic flux. Okay, you can see it's a long wire, which the problem I did the other day. I have calculated the magnetic field outside the wire, inside the wire. So all this case I did, this is the way it is done. P dot ds. Only thing you have to integrate it properly. For it is like 2 pi r. Okay, the into b. So it is mu 0 I by 2 pi r. You can see there for the wire. Okay. Okay. But if it is the loop is outside, okay, you can see here. It is like this much. Okay. And if you consider that is the previous case was the point was outside the, okay, you see, you can see it here, mu 0 I by 2 pi r. Okay, this for a point outside the wire. For a point inside the wire, you have to redefine the current element differently. Okay, you can see pi r square by pi x square. In this way you can calculate it. Okay, the current is IR. You can plot it also. This thing I did it the other day. Okay, now this is a case of solenoid. This is wonderfully also done. You have calculated, you defined one area, okay, PQRS. Now there will be no magnetic field because this loop is outside it. Okay, and if you consider inside loop, see the picture, you see for the portion which is inside the wire, okay, that is for this region, you'll get some magnetic field. Okay, for the current flowing to this portion, you'll get the magnetic field. You'll get no magnetic field for this and this because these are equal and opposite. You'll get no magnetic field for this because this is outside the wire. Okay, so it is not enclosing it. So basically all the magnetic field will be mainly coming from this portion. Okay, So in this way, we did it the other day. So it is, so it is basically there. It is in the direction of the length. So B dot dl becomes dl is equal to ni. It is the number of turns. Okay, what that length. So it becomes ni by l. Okay, you can see there. Okay, this thing was done the other day. N by l is the number of turns. Okay, so now, or you can write down mu0 small ni. Okay, this is a formula of current to a solenoid. Circular solenoids are called toroid. That thing also I did the other day. Net magnetic flux is, if you know B, you have to take a surface integral B dot ds. Okay, so mu 0 ni by L. If you see mu 0 in the problem I'm presenting on the screen. Okay, radius is R is 10 centimeter. Okay, you have to put it in meters. So yes, mu 0 is the 4 pi 10 to the minus 7. N is you see number of turns is 1000, that is capital L. Length is like 50 centimeter, means zero point 0.5 meter, and the current is 2 ampere. So if you put all the values, you can calculate the magnetic field, that is 0.050050 Tesla. Now if you just get the total flux equal to the surface area, it will be multiplied by the pi r square. Okay, capital R is the radius of this cylinder. Okay, so you can now calculate it. Okay. And see there radius is given as solenoid of the radius is given as 10 centimeter. Okay, so this capital R was 10 centimeter. So you have to put it in meters. So if you do so, it will come here. Okay, so if you put the values, you'll get the magnetic field. Okay, that this is the radius. R is given there. Okay, so understand Weber per meter square is called Tesla. Now these are some points. Now I'll be introducing the concept of magnetic field. All of you know divergence of curl of any vector is 0. So we can suitably replace it. Okay, divergence of curl of any vector is 0. So we can now suitably replace it like this way. Okay. So we may write down this divergence of curl of any vector is 0. So we can write down this B here as curl of a quantity called A. Okay. So this gives me B is equal to curl of A. So here I'm expressing magnetic field curl of a quantity, newly introduced quantity called A. A is called the famous magnetic vector potential. Okay. A has got no physical meaning, but if you in a problem, if your A is given, you see just by taking curl, I can calculate the magnetic field. Okay, that is such. You see, so therefore this is coming mathematically. So A has got a mathematical origin, but not a physical origin. But you see, this will give you some more information. If you look here, B is equal to curl of A. So if I now, if this is something which I have received just now, we have got it. So if I now take curl of this quantity B, so this is curl of B is mu 0 j, which is know from Ampere circuital law. I have taught you discussed last day. So now basically this equation now takes the shape like this way. B is equal to curl of, so it becomes curl of A is equal to mu 0 j. So curl of a vector is basically divergence. You see gradient of divergence of the vector A by vector identity by del square A. Now divergence of a vector will be, this divergence will be 0 for the steady current. Okay, so basically I am left with del minus del square A is equal to mu 0 j. So your equation is becoming like del square minus mu 0 j. This is very similar to del square V is equal to minus rho by epsilon 0 in electrostatics. In electrostatics, we have got a very similar equation. So now in magnetostatics, so this is the identical equation. So that's why the role this V plays, this is called the electric potential. Okay, this is called the electric potential. Okay, V, this V is the electric potential or voltage. So that's why this is the magnetic. This is the formula I'm getting in magnetostatics. So that's why this A is therefore a potential quantity. and that's why A is called the magnetic vector potential. Okay, it is the magnetic vector potential. So that is the beauty. It is coming with an analogy with your electrostatics concept. So now, if you now progress a bit, you will realize. So therefore, del square A is equal to minus mu 0 J is coming from the for a steady state current, and this is the just now I told you electrostatic it is coming here. Okay, now you see, if there is no charge, if J is 0, then this will be a Laplace's equation of okay, del square A equal to 0 when no current is there, and if no charge is there, then del square V is equal to 0, obviously for a charge free region. And for if there is no current density, this is an automatic conversion that you can see. So now I can take I can write down this equation in Gauss's law in this form: divergence of gradient of the potential energy. If I take volume integral, it can be written like this way: divergence of gradient of V is equal to this much. Now, by Gauss's theorem, divergence of gradient of a quantity, this is basically, this will become V dot ds. Okay, if I surface integrate it, if you see V dot ds, and on the right hand side rho dv by epsilon 0, the volume integral. So from here on, I can actually write down, okay, if you integrate it, or if it is a spherical surface, this will be like 4 pi r square type quantity and v. So on the right side you get like this much, okay, 1 by 4 pi, you see, it will be like rho dv type quantity. So now you can get an expression of Vr, okay, that is integration of the charge density over the volume element, and Vr is expressed like this way. The idea is that likewise, if I do the same thing, you can express the magnetic potential like this way: mu 0 by 4 pi, okay, J. J is the electric current density. So it is a, I'm expressing magnetic vector into the electric vector potential, electric potential, or in normal voltage as integration over charge density. Here I am expressing the magnetic vector potential as an integration over the current density that we can witness here. Okay. So after that, we can utilize this idea of magnetic vector potential for solution of some problems. So if I try to solve some problem, you see here I have been given a vector A. Is A magnetic vector potential is x square plus y square minus z square is j cap. So at a position x, y, z, find the magnetic field at 1, 1, 1. So I have to utilize this formula: B is equal to curl of the vector. So you can write down the vector A in this form. This is the j component, so that means I component is 0, the k component is also 0. So B is equal to curl of A will be, therefore curl means I j k, and del del x, del del y, del del z, and these are the vectors coming, okay, 0, 0, and you can see here from J, this is the contribution coming. Now rest of the job is very simple. Rest of the job is a mathematician's job. What you have to do, you have to, you see, for I part, you see it, what it will be doing for the I component, what it will be doing, it will be del del y of 0 and del del z of this quantity, and if there is a minus sign will be there, so it is shown here. For the J part, del del z of 0 and del del x of 0. So basically these things are actually differentiated, so nothing to contribute. For K part, it is del del x of x square y square z square, so this is being done and remaining is 0. So from del del z, you will get only minus sign is there, you get this 2z I cap, and for del del x here you get this 2x, because other terms will not be differentiated. So we'll get here that B is equal to, therefore B is basically becoming like 2 z I cap plus x k cap. So our next job is to put it at, if I'm calculating at 1, 1, 1, if you put the value, it is 2 I cap plus 2 k cap. So very simple problem. So anybody can solve this problem. So now let me get into another problem. The other problem is this much. If I try to solve the problem, you see here I am being given a vector A is equal to 1 by 2, another vector, cross product of another two vectors A and I. Now I take up A is equal to A1 I cap plus A2 j cap plus A3 k cap. If I take a cross product with the R vector I j k A1 A2 A3, R means X Y Z. So when you calculate the I, so it is like A2Z, you can understand Z A2, Y A3, and so basically these two are coming. And when you take up the J case, it is equal to X A3 and A1Z. And when you take up the K case, Y A1, X A2. So this is the value of your the comp is A. Now what is A? A is equal to 1 by 2 of AR. Okay, AR, R vector. So if I take AR vector, so basically same thing will come, only 1 by 2 will be coming beneath this. Okay, only 1 by 2 will be coming. So now let me do it for you, how it comes like. So basically you can see from the previous page, AR is equal to this much. This is your AR, just it is copy pasted from there on. So what will be, this is your basically A. So basically what is your capital A? This is 1 by 2 of this. So 1 by 2 will be there with every term. Okay, so that's why this 1 by 2 is taken common when I take B is equal to curl of A. So you can see here ijk is there because you are taking curl del L x del y del L j. Now these are the terms. For I it is z2 minus y3. For z it is x3 minus a1z. For k it is ya1 minus x3.
The magnetic vector potential, another problem. If you look at the problem, and there is I have written the expression of the magnetic vector potential A as half of A cross R. So if you write down the expression of R, it is like J to A cross R is shown there. It is I by 2 Z2 minus Y3 plus Z by 2 X3 minus A1Z and plus K by 2 Ya1 minus X2. So B curl of A is that. Now you have to resolve the determinant I, J, K, del X, del X, del Y, del Z, and as you can see, so the expression is like half of I, and we are taking I, it is del Y of Ya1 minus X2 and del Z of X3 minus A1Z. So obviously Z2 will be del L Z of Z2 minus Y3 and del L X of X3 minus it will be Ya1 minus X2, sorry. And when you are doing it for K, it will be obviously del L X of X3 minus A1Z and del I of Z2 minus Y3 that you can automatically see. Okay, so therefore you can therefore the equation is now I can go for the differentiation. So the first term will give you A1 and second term is going to give you also that minus A1. So ultimately you get, it is minus minus plus, it is twice of A1. Second term is giving you A2 and here I am getting minus A2, the minus minus plus, it is, we are getting J by 2 twice A2. Okay, and the other one is you can see here the derivative, it will give me A3 and minus A3 or minus minus plus. So basically in this case also I get K by 2 twice A3. So all the 2's will be gone. So my expression of B equal to curl of A will become obviously A1 I cap A2 j plus A2 j cap plus A3 k cap. Okay, so you are getting it. The curl of A is therefore I by 2 it is twice A1. I am writing it again for your convenience. Twice A2 plus K by 2 twice A3. So 2's will be gone. Okay, so if 2's are gone, it is obviously A1 I cap plus A2 j cap and plus A3 k cap. So now obviously this is my expression of B and this is nothing but the A vector. Okay, so it's a very good and wonderful problem that we can see here. So we did it in more details. So now let us see, let us wait for what is going on, waiting for us for the next class. After this knowledge of magnetostatics, we'll move into the details of now into electromagnets. That